Good morning, everyone. Let's start early. I want to get going. So anyways, good morning. Today is the 5th of November. I believe that's a Thursday. So there's a lot of news on the calendar, a lot of interesting things going on in the world related to Forex. So let's get on with it. So let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So good morning, y'all. All. Welcome to Forex.Today. This is a YouTube community of over 16,000 foreign exchange traders. We're stationed all around the world. We might actually be right next door to you. We're everywhere. You can't stop us. We're like Fight Club. we might be peeing in the lobster bisque. Well, you're not looking. We're everywhere. So anyways, thank you for being part of the community. We like to have fun, but we like to make money. We like to talk big, small, sideways, forward, backwards, little of everything. If you're a heckler, we're not interested, bro. If you're selling crap, we're not interested. If you're a spammer, we're not interested. But if you want to be part of a positive community working hard to improve our skills and treating Forex not as Fortnite, but as building a business empire, then cool. That Forex.Today is the right place for you. My name is Wayne McDonald. I've been in the alternative investing space for over 30 years. I started out as an entrepreneur trying to raise money. And then I became a venture capitalist investing money, and then I've been in the global macro investment space for the rest of that 20 years, I guess. So that's pretty cool. So ask questions, get involved. I'm here to help. I'm here to share. Lots of interesting things going on in the world. Finally are figuring out who's won the U.S. election. Looks like Biden's going to get it, huh? Well, cool. We move on.com. So once we started figuring that out last night, actually late, basically around London close yesterday, market started moving. Money's been easy since then. So there's our reaction. And one of the things we did in my live meeting on election night was we went back over the previous election before that, and the previous election before that, and looked at what happened. We're like, okay, it may not happen tonight, but it's going to happen, and we know what direction. And then boom, that's that. So I think it started yesterday. So there you go. So I hope you're enjoying the move, and with that, everything that comes with it. I'd like to thank Traders Way for being a great broker, being part of our community. You're a trader, so you're going to need a broker. That's that. What you want in a broker is when you click the button, they execute the trade quickly. 2, you want small fees, right? So you want your spreads to be narrow, or you want your ECN commissions to be small. Well, guess what? ECN commissions, last I looked, are discounted 50% because of COVID. So you want low fees, tradersway.com, right? And then, and you want good swaps. Especially on retail accounts, small retail accounts, usually a broker will screw you over on your swaps because you don't even care. So very often you'll see brokers that will have negative swap, whether you're long or short. You're like, what do you mean? Like, either way you lose, right? And I get why brokers have to do that, because if you have a small account, you're not worth very much. So they have to find every way they could possibly make a penny, because, well, you're paying 10 cents on your trade. I mean, there are real expenses to running a brokerage, like real salaries and real compliance and all that kind of stuff. So if every time you trade, your trades are only worth 10 cents to the broker, they're like, dude, they're going to have to look at the aggregate and say, how do we make money? And no one's doing carry trading, so let's make some money on the carry. Get it? Traders Way doesn't do that. The carries are awesome. Also, there used to be a lot of brokers around the world like, hey, we're non-dealing desk, which means they're not B-booking you. But those several of those brokers went out of business because they were B-booking you. They weren't putting your trades in their interbanking system. They were trading against you. They were betting against you. They're like, there's no way this guy's going to be profitable. And 99% or 95% of the time, they were right. We've learned through real-world experience that Trader's Way doesn't do that, and that is a good thing. So if you need a broker, give Trader's Way an opportunity to earn your loyalty and respect. That's it. Go to tradersway.com, open up a demo account, see if they earn your loyalty and respect. That's it. Give them a chance. That's all they're asking for. Cool. So, boom, 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 boom. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. So, what's going on in the world? Well, I'm going to start with the dollar pairs because this is based on the election night. So going into election night, I think it was up, 800 pips or something? And then, of course, election night, we didn't get results and all that kind of stuff. So the ups and downs and the downs and the ups and downs or whatever. But what like I was saying before or earlier in the was that we had more than a get-rich-quick plan, right? Like, and I said that even before when I was inviting people, like, look, if you're looking to get rich quick, that's not even the right mindset. So I had people meditate before the webinar and all this kind of stuff, like the stuff you should be doing, right? And so on election night, it was unclear, no real surprises really, except Biden didn't do, the blue wave. Like it wasn't Biden in a landslide. Biden's going to win probably by 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Right now, he's winning Nevada by like 8,000 votes. If he wins Nevada, he hits 270 and he wins president of the United States. It's going to come down to 8,000 votes. But wasn't it Bush over Gore? Wasn't that like by 500 votes? And everyone's like, you're kidding me. 500 votes out of 150 million. So anyways, so what I'm saying here is we have the right mindset. We have, and I was very clear. If Biden wins, this is what's going to happen. If Trump wins, this is what's going to happen. And if we don't know, this other thing's going to happen. So, right? So the issue is timing. When do we know? And when we know, the market will move. So now it looks like late yesterday, we started to figure, Wisconsin and Michigan's going to Biden. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So in that scenario, US dollar weakness. How many people will back me up and confirm that all of that is true? Not somewhat true, not mostly true, but written on stone tablets. Okay? Yeah. And a couple of people said, well, when will they announce it? And I said, it doesn't matter when they announce it. It's when the market decides that that's what's going to happen. Right? So that happened late yesterday. Cool. So we can take a look at that. Okay. This goes back from the previous move, so I'll remove that. So here's an entry here on Pig Dog. Okay. You may recognize that it was lower and came back. What do you think of that trade? That's a 5-minute chart, by the way. Notice also it's in the middle of the buy zone. Here it is. What do you think of that trade? What are your thoughts? Good, bad, boring, simple, expected, not expected, interesting, not interesting? Okay. The best part of this, I think, is that it's exactly in the zone. This is the zone, right? This is where buyers buy. Right? Oh, yeah. And I bought it on a breakout retracement to the psychological level of 130. So I'm actually long at like 129.65, but it was because of the kickoff here. Cool. Okay. All right. So that's pound on a 5-minute chart. What about euro? Okay. This one was actually quite late because I didn't realize what was happening until later. Oh, there we go. I missed that trade. That's the trade I wanted to be on, but it happened at a funny time. I was actually outside and I'm like, holy shit, it's happening, right? I'm outside and I'm on my phone, right? I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. So, boom. I run back into the house, okay? So I missed this, but I got that. And you can see what I'm doing here. Up, 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 down, down, buy. But am I buying yesterday's pivots? Yesterday? WWWD. What would Wayne do? Am I trading yesterday's pivots yesterday? No, I'm trading today's pivots yesterday. So I'm trading tomorrow's pivots yesterday, which is today. Ho, 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 he, hoo, ha. Nice. Okay. But remember, to me, this is election day stuff. Okay. So I was in heavy here, got knocked out at break even, and missed that one, missed that one. There's always another chance. So I'm on that one. Cool. Okay. And it was great because I love the updated version of Android. So I'm on my phone and I'm watching CNBC on my phone and I have my charts open at the same time. So my charts are floating over top of NBC, or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But I'm watching, and everything, and then I'm like, oh, look. I'm right here. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta move. Give me the juice. So, thank God for multi-windows. All right. Aussie. Not on it on this platform. Okay. But I guess we should still cover it. Okay. Okay. Double bottom, higher high, higher low. You should be in here. Okay. Second chance, higher high, trade zone. Boring. Okay. Cool. Kiwi dollar. What's going on? Nothing's right. I'm torn. All right. So in this case, oops, delete. We're on Kiwi dollar now on a 5-minute chart. And I am long on this one. I'm long here. You can see right here. I don't know why it's so hard to see today. Okay. So remember, I'm trading this yesterday. So these pivots hadn't quite set yet. So you can see I'm long right here. For some reason, it's more difficult to see today. So I'm long right here. But at that time, you can also see right there, okay? But at that time, that was this pivot here. So here's what I did. Up, 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 down, down, buy. Nice! Okay. What do you notice so far on the euro long, the pound long, the Kiwi long? What are you noticing? 1, I have a pre-established bias. 2, I have a strategy. I know what I want to do before I do it. And 3, even though I'm scalping 5-minute charts, I'm just day trading. This is straight out of the day trading course. This is just boring little day trades, but sitting on the top of a foundation of a strategy and a bias. Okay. Yulia says, hey, Euro USD Yen will go to 100. Maybe. I don't trade that one. So I don't really watch it anymore. But I just want to point out, we're just day trading on top of a bias and a strategy. And of course, yesterday was key because we were still in election mode, right? But there's nothing sophisticated going on, in my humble opinion. They're just day trades. Okay, so look at today's trade. You ready? Down, 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 up, up, sell. How many people can do that? Now you know how to day trade. There's a whole course. There's like 4-hour discussion about how to do that and why it happens. It's called the Asian fade, by the way, the Asia fade. Been doing that for 20 years. If you watch some of the videos, like, let's say you on YouTube, you go to youtube.com/FXBootcamp, and you go back to like 2004, 2005, 2006 videos. I mean, it's almost 2021. So go back to videos from 2005, 2006, and you'll see I'm trading the Asian fade. Like, it's great. So you need to know the day trade, but that, right? Like, silly, right? Did we look at USD and peso yet? No, I was short USD peso, USD rand pre-election, making money on both, and then I got knocked out at break even on both of those, and then I didn't want to tiptoe into exotics that night after the fact. My strategy was get in and jam the stop, right? But I was short this, and then got knocked out on the election night rally. Okay. So I was short here. You can't see it anymore, but I was short here, and then this took me out, and I just walked away because I don't need exotics on that night. But, you know, there's always a new opportunity, right? And I did the same on Rand. I was short this one, same sort of thing where I don't remember where I shorted it. Let's just say sort of somewhere in here. And then obviously this took me out, and it's not my fault. It's just what happened. But I don't want to lose money, right? So yeah, and then I was right. So that's all. I didn't get the full pullback here, but this is kicking off the hourly 21, so it makes sense. It's just I was doing other things yesterday. I was setting up my trades. So when I'm setting up my first trades are generally not exotics. They're generally dollar pairs and yen pairs, right? So I have 5 open trades on this account for 550 pips for the day. And so because I was setting those up, I didn't see the other ones, and the other ones weren't as good, but whatever. So now you can take a look at like pivots, for example, at yens, right? And like Kiwi Yen, for example, what did Wayne do? Well, there's the bottom level support, you know, quad bottom, higher high, right? And somewhere in here, I think here I bought it. And, I mean, you can see it right here, right? And of course, my stop is below support, so it wasn't even close. Once again, just a really boring day trade. Up, 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 Asian fade. Bought it in here on the pullback. Went to bed. That kind of thing. Cool, right? Or here's your London Open move. One way or another. Okay. Yeah, so answers added to the Eurozar. Yeah, there are plenty of good trades there for sure. But you have to remember, this is all based on global macroeconomics. Yeah, I like that one on the bond buying, but also the Bank of England, right? Has it been announced yet? I've forgotten what's going on. Has Bank of England announced their their new QE program. I think that was today, right? What's the psychology or behavioral finance behind the Asian fade? Take the course. It's in the course. fxbootcamp.com. Insert a credit card, and knowledge is spit out the other side. Easy. Wayne, can you explain more about the swing trading? Yeah, you show up Thursdays. In fact, I want to move it, but I can't move it today because I haven't announced it. But we meet and do group work. That's what it is. We meet and we do group work and group discussions on swing trading. So like all of this is stuff that swing traders do. This is all a form of swing trading. So swing traders know how to position trade, swing trade, and day trade. Those are the three things that we focus on. And I make it super cheap so that money doesn't sort of prevent you from joining. Cool. So anyways, up, down, down, buy, up, down, down, buy. Guess what's going to happen today? You should be buying right around there. Okay. So it looks like currently, if you're a bull, this 75 level, which we're attesting, is probably your buy zone based on tomorrow's pivots. Raymond wants to talk about the mentality or the psychology of these ones. Yeah, well, let's talk about that tonight, huh? Oh, are these channels available? I believe the programmer sent me them yesterday, but I haven't looked at them yet. So it looks like he's got them done. So that's cool. That's right, Alejandro. All right. La 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 la. Cool. So let's take a look. Head around the world. Let's do commodities. Okay, so looking at commodities, let's do my WTI. It's kind of where we are. This is a combination of both weekly and monthly pivot points and some price action analysis here. So we can see this is the October expected low. So based on this, so this top back in October predicted this price to be the bottom for the month of October. And we hit it in the last hour of the month, which is perfect. So now we have this new sort of move here. I don't know if you want to call that the bottom or this, but if you were doing normal technical analysis, you would look at this price and say inside. That's an inside week. Okay? And that makes this the projected top. So that would be for this week. You'd have to make a decision now. Are you trading that or are you trading the monthly? Okay. A bullish monthly entry predicts this to that. So a bullish move on WTI, if that's your point of view, and this is just sort of noise, if your point of view is bullish, then you expect West Texas Intermediate crude to be going to 42 by the end of the month. It could be tomorrow, it could be the last day of the month, but by within the month of November, you're expecting WTI to go to 42. If you're a bear, then what you're looking for now is a turn right in here, and you're taking it down. Now, I'm a bull, but I can see this isn't bullish yet. So, but let's go from the bearish point of view. You believe it's going down to 32, 31.76. Okay, this is what you're thinking here. So that if that's what you think, if that's what you are, a bear on WTI, then that's probably going to happen in the next day or two, right? So therefore, you would be setting up next week's swing trade, and that next week's swing trade is selling at 38.89 with a target of 33.28.5. Okay. So, and you're like, well, which one? You said up or down? I don't know. Are you a bull or a bear? I can do this all day long if I have a bias. If you're a bear, it's stupid easy. If you're a bull, yeah, there's that. I mean, so you just have to decide. Okay. And the cool thing about making a decision is you make one decision and you can have 27 different trades on commodities, on currencies, as long as you understand the meaning behind your decision. Okay. Sophie says Bank of England, 0.1 bank rate and monetary policy set to meet the 2% inflation target. Yeah, but there should be something in there, Sophie, that talks about sort of a reinitiation of quantitative easing, or an extension of quantitative easing, or additional quantitative easing, but there should be something in there for that. I believe that was supposed to come out today. So it may be buried in the statement, but it's like the thing in the statement that you should be looking for. Yeah, well, yeah, you can't be a swing trader without without a bias, right? I mean, you would never know what to do. So the best thing, if you really don't, you're like, I'm completely incapable of making that decision. I don't, the fundamentals make no sense to me. It's all gobbledygook. I can't make the decision. Then the best thing you should do, and it will work, by the way, is flip a coin. And you're done. Honestly, I don't even care what your decision is. You just have to have a decision. And there are very clear times in our group, and as part of the learning process, in my humble opinion, where some people are dead set bears and other people are dead set bulls, and we both have sob stories and we both have victorious moments, right? And then after a while of doing this, you get this like breakthrough where you realize, oh, there's a dance going on between bulls and bears. It's not a zero-sum game at all. It's not about kill or be killed. It's about not stepping on your partner's toes. Right? If you treat her right, and lead when you should lead, and relax when you should relax, the night's going to end very well for both of you. Okay? But if you're fighting and stepping on each other's toes and bickering, well, yeah, you both lose. So that's, to me, just having an opinion, right? Because then you know, does your left foot go forward or does your right foot go forward? Well, if you don't know if you're leading or following, you're going to be a terrible dancer. Okay? So you have to realize it's a symbiotic dance that you're both trying to enjoy. But you have to know the rules. Left, left, right, back kick. Left, left, right, back kick. Left, left, right, back kick. But for you, it might be right, left, forward kick. You know, whatever. If you don't know how to Lindy hop, you don't know how to swing dance. Is that East Coast? Oh, I don't like Lindy. I like East Coast. Okay, well, good. At least for swing dancers. Okay. This is Bitcoin. Right? So what's happened recently? Same thing that happened on every other pair. See, so I'm long the euro. I'm long the Kiwi. I'm long the pound. I'm short the dollar. I'm short the yen. This is exactly the same trade. Okay? It's the exact same trade. Global macro expansion, the election's over, risk back on, gone. That's it. Should you be concerned about 1,500 psych level? Yeah. See, the other issue that you must learn with trading, we spent a lot of time in our live group about this. Once you got to buy a set, you'd be shocked to see the importance of when to trade. There may actually only be 3 hours a day to be trading, and they're 3 different hours. So all you really need is one of those hours available in your life to trade. Now, of course, you can sit in front of your charts all day and add another, right? Move a stop. But if you don't have a lot of time, there's probably only 3 hours in a day that you need to be a Forex trader. Where if you're going to trade, you need to be at your computer one of those 3 hours. You make your trades at that point, and then you move on. And a lot of other people, like if you're just logging into New York now, what are your choices right now with Bitcoin? You can buy Bitcoin at a psych level. Is that ideal? No, probably not, right? Probably not. So what's your other choice? Sell? You're going to sell this giant rally that everyone on the planet just bought? So is that an ideal move? No. Okay. This was ideal. This was ideal. And that's that. There probably isn't even a third time now. You see that? Asia, London, gone. The rest is just late. Okay? Up, higher high, buy the dip, roll reversal, kick it off to 21, gone. You were there and you did it, or you were not there and you didn't do it and there's nothing else to do except like follow on and put on trades late. Ideally, that's not what you do. But now if you're an intraday trader, like you do like to trade all the time, check this out. This is kind of interesting, right? This is price action, by the way. This is all in the training courses. Just look at the beautiful price action. Okay? Higher high, roll reversal. Okay? New higher high, right? Roll reversal. New higher high. Let me do it again. Okay? Just so you can see this. Okay? This is trickier, but notice every one of these candles, like, well, let me make sure you understand this. Up, down, buy. Up, down, buy. Up, down, buy. You're just buying the old, what used to be support, or what used to be resistance is now support. So your buyer here, your buyer here, your buyer here. And the cool thing about this, and this is what most people miss, it's all about predicting the future. So after it's made a higher high, All you do is wait for the role reversal. And you buy here. You're like, oh, cool, nice. Then you're like, aha, higher high. I'm going to wait for the higher low. Okay? And this is what you do. You're constantly predicting the future. If you're trending up, a higher high will give you a higher low. A higher high will give you a higher low. And you're like, oh, nice. It's too easy. 618, right? And then inside of that, if you got even more aggression, check this out. It stays the same, only different. If you're measuring this bullish candle, okay, you got your 618 Fibonacci retracement. Then you get the new bullish candle, okay, and you got a 50% retracement. Then you got this bullish candle, okay. By the way, I call this frequency. I know it's not the right word, but I'm self-taught. But I used to do this for myself before FX Bootcamp, so I don't know, 20 years ago. And I called this frequency because I was watching how it went from 618 to 50% to 382. It's actually speeding up, right? That's why I called it frequency. But if you Google like technical analysis frequency, you're going to get a different answer. I made most of this up through observation. So anyways, so there's a lot going on there. Very nice. If you're a Bitcoin trader, cool, right on. Good trades. All the same thing. That's exactly the same thing as all my trades. I'm trading completely different asset classes. It's the one thing, macroeconomics. Okay? So like, let's see if there was any day trades on this. Okay? So here's what I do when I'm me. I go day trading bullish. Okay? That's it. So what was today's trade? Remember, we make today's trade yesterday. These are the two most important prices you were looking at yesterday. So if you're a gold trader, you're probably long here at 1900. Yeah, it went a little lower, but that's why you invent stop losses, right? Like, it went a little lower, but it didn't make a lower low, so not a big deal. Okay? So there's your perfect price yesterday. You bought it at 1900. After the higher high. So you're thinking, oh, higher low. Look at tomorrow's pivot points. Oh, there's a psych level. Great, I'm going to buy it there. Done. Okay? Then since then, so that's day trading. Okay? Asia fade kind of thing. And then what? Now you go into price action. Okay? Ba-ba-ba-ba. 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 And so here we are in New York. New York! Or New York. The Jay-Z version. Right? Anyways, here's what you do. You're saying to yourself, if you get the opportunity to buy it around there, you will. What does that have to do with now? Nothing. Now is done. Okay? Now is done. So a day trader now has to wait for something like this. You might get it today. You might have to wait till Asia. You might have to wait till London Open. But now is dead. It didn't even give you a pullback on this hourly chart, which means the more bullish it's going to be, it is now, the more likely it's going to be bearish later. It's going to snap back. And if you're smart, you'll be ready for it. So what you're doing now is planning tomorrow. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you show up to New York and you're going to like have some fun with it, it's not going to work, right? Okay? Because now you're fighting wild beasts over crumbs. You're choosing to have a fist fight with the rock, and if you win, you get $2. Have you seen Fast and Furious 7 or whatever. Dude, The Rock is a monster. He doesn't look like a real person. He's so big. And you're like, yeah, I'll fight that dude. Dude, he's a professional fighter. And he's the size of a monster. He's made out of stone. You're going to fight The Rock for $2. That's a lot of risk for very little reward. And then it's funny because one of those Fast and Furious movies, there's a fight scene with The Rock, and he's fighting a guy in the back of an airplane that's moving down a runway, and the guy he's fighting makes The Rock look small. Can you imagine such a thing? Do you guys know the movie I'm talking about? Probably not, but right, if you have a teenage boy live in your house, you probably have seen it. And it's amazing because you're like, oh my God, he just picked up The Rock and threw him. You're like, and the guy's not even a muscle-bound like wrestler. No, he's just a big dude. The guy is just a big dude. You're like, that guy is big, like born big. He's a Swede? Yeah. Yeah, he's like half Swedish, half Dutch, and half South African. And that's why he's so big, because he's three halves. But anyways, he picks up The Rock and throws him. You're like, wow. So anyways, so you're going to fight these guys. You're like, yeah, well, if I win, I get $2. You're like, dude, you're going to get your neck broken. And you're going to risk that for $2? So anyways, you got a lot of risk for very little reward. But of course, if all you do is scalping, and I highly suggest you do more than scalping in your career, but if all you do is scalping, then you can do it. It's just a lot of work, because now you're going to have to sit here for hours and maybe get what? 3 trades, 4 trades? Okay. So like now, if you're a scalper, you're playing price action on a 5-minute chart, and the sad thing is, if that's what you do, you end up forgetting the bigger trade anyways. And I think the bigger trade is the easier trade. So you might work all day and make 50 or 100 pips. But I don't think that's a lot of pips. You're like, you worked all day and all you made was 100 pips. Then you're not doing it right. Okay? But you can do it. I would call, I actually like scalping. I know I poo-poo on it all the time, but there's a lot of newer people here that walk in and that's all they do. It's a false idol. Yeah, scalping's fun. Yeah, it's exciting. But it should be the last thing you learn. Most people, it's the first thing they learn, but they don't know technical analysis. They don't know the reason behind the trade. They don't have medium or longer term views. They don't know the trend. So ultimately, you don't know what the heck you're doing. But it's a great sales pitch for someone like trying to teach you how to get rich quick. Oh, yeah, well, okay. But if you actually do the math, it's not the first thing you should be focused on. It's the last thing. But once you know how to bake a beautiful cake, it's fun to play with icing. You get to lick the spoon clean and lick the bowl clean. Hey, who doesn't like that? Okay? But it should be the last part, not the first part, right? So now on a 5-minute chart, you're probably doing this. Okay? So now we were talking about times of day. You probably have... You have to choose, actually, your New York Open. There's the 7 a.m. Open, which revolves historically around gold and oil markets opening, okay? And you got to get those in before the news at 8:30. So really, it's between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. would be your time to do your 1 hour of New York trading. So if you lived in the New York time zone and you're like, well, I have a job, Wayne, but I want to learn how to do Forex. Well, if you can work between 7 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the morning, which could be like from 6:30 to 7:30. At least you're at your charts at 7. You could probably make your first step of a career. You can become a day trader, okay, or a swing trader. And also note that that time is also approximately London lunch. So you can see why it's important. There's London lunch traders, and then there's sort of the historical futures traders. But imagine it this way. Imagine it's that time period is only because of London lunch. So think about it. Some traders in Europe, so they might be in London, they might be in Frankfurt or somewhere in between, right? They go to lunch. Okay. What's the first thing they're going to do? These are traders now, right? Professional traders and even retail traders. After lunch, what's the first thing that they're going to try to do? Does anybody know? You go away for your chart for an hour, hour and a half, and then you come back after lunch and you sit down at your desk. You're probably going to get another trade on. And that's what you would be trading at that time period. You'd probably get a trade on, and then a whole bunch of people come back from lunch and get some new trades on, and you're in a trade that catches that wave of new money. Then the next one is more like the 9 to 10 period, and that has everything to do with the stock market open in the United States. So there's sort of that period, and the 8 to 9:30 that we meet is sort of, you should already be in a trade or you're waiting for new implied volatility. But then that would make this a very dangerous trade because, or like the Bitcoin one where you're already at the key cycle level, then that could be the shorter term move down. You don't really know which one. So like, for example, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So here's 1 hour. Nothing happened. But I just recommended to you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. In this period, I just recommended to you that that's the time to be trading if you only had 1 hour a day to trade. So you look at this and you're like, okay, I'm bullish on gold and I got to get my trade on. And the hour before this is London boys at lunch. Oh, look, nothing happened. So you're like, but I'm a bull, so I need to find my lines and I need to find my thing and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, okay, here's the little price action I'm looking for. Okay. A little higher high on a 5-minute chart, just a little scalp, but with intent. You're a bull. Okay, you buy the higher low, and now you're done. And you go do your day job. Okay? Okay, and you're gone. Now, what's your take profit for a scalp? Well, in this case, this is not a scalp. This person would be trying to be long for between 1 day and 1 week. Otherwise, there's not enough money in it. You're fighting the rock for $2. Well, if I beat up the rock and knock him out, I want a couple of million. You're like, dude, check this out. I got in a fist fight with the rock and I knocked him out. Look at me, I'm standing on him. This is great. Wouldn't that be a great selfie? You're like you standing on the rock, and you're like, who's the bitch now? You're like, yeah. So anyways, you got to get focused on winning. Now, a scalp, there are multiple ways to do a scalp. Now, like I try to scalp 100 pips at a time, and people are floored by that because they're trying to get 8, maybe 10. They're stoked if they get 20 pips on a trade. But there's just the math doesn't work for me on that. Okay. The math doesn't work on it. If you only make 8 to 10 to 12 to 20 pips, whatever, on your scalps, you're just wasting your time. It's just going to take you a lot longer to die. You're going to die of 1,000 lashes. 1,000 little cuts. You're slowly going to bleed out. So if you have more than that in your capabilities, like you have a bias, you have a trend, you have some larger time frame price action, and then you fold in your scalps, well, then your scalps inherently are worth more. So at the bare minimum, I would start, if I were to teach you how to scalp, you could start with like a 25 OCO. Okay? And then I'd have you progress up to like a 50-25 OCO. Okay? And then I would tweak this a little bit depending on your results. And you might do a 33.66 OCO and get that to a 33.99 OCO. And all of a sudden you realize, well, what you end up doing is you're going from a scalp now to a market open trade. And then from a market open trade, you're going to a day trade. And then guess what? Now you end up going 33.333 OCO. Why? Because you're swing trading now. And what you'll realize is all your entries are scalps. You'd only take 12 pips profit or 18 pips profit on a trade if you had no idea of value. Okay? You're choosing to steal bread by throwing a brick through the baker's window, but you'll realize the greatest riches is being the baker. You should learn how to bake bread. Okay? I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. That's before Pearl Jam, by the way. And it was like Pearl Jam Soundgarden, I think, was one band. And they split up and went their own ways. But I digressed. We don't need a tour of Seattle. So yeah, so anyways, off we go here. A little 5-minute scalpy scalps. Great. Okay, so there's two different types of trading there. And of course, if you get your 7 a.m. trade and the 9:30 trade, because it's really 9:30, right? So if your 9:30 trade goes in the same direction as your 7 o'clock trade, you make a lot of money, right? I think Johnny must be approximately my age because he gets all my jokes and all my songs. Oh, and by the way, the person that sent me the link to the Black Sheep song, I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, so think of it, if for those that made the trade at 7, their day trade at 7, and then the 9:30 takes that trade the same direction, then you made a lot of money. And then, oh, really? I'm not that old, Johnny. Holy smoke, seriously? Wow. Do you use a cane yet? 52. Holy. Yeah, oh my God. And I thought I had problems. Holy smokes. Anyways, good. Yeah. Well, we'll have to drink to that. I think Johnny's got a good Scotch collection, I think. All right. So that's the cool thing about being 52 or 50-ish Suddenly you got a little bit of money in your life, where when you're a kid, you're like, oh man, I'd like to do that, or if I could do this, or if I could do that, or that'd be right, or anything you do takes up a year's salary. And then later on in life, things are pretty cool because you're like, you know what, boom, I've always wanted to do that. I'm just going to do it. Right? Like, I'm only going to drink good scotch because life is too short. I work too hard. Give me the good stuff. Top shelf only, please. Thank you very much. So it's the cool thing about being an adult. But you have to give up all the fun stuff of being a kid. So, there's always a compromise. All right. So if things go well, if the 930 has congruency with the 730, then you're going to make money. If the 930 goes against your 730, you get stopped out. You see the beauty of that? Okay. I'll also, I'll make another point. So here's these 5 trades. So for the last hour, I've been farting around between 500 and 550 pips. But the hour before that, I made like 150 or 200 pips because that was at 7 o'clock in the morning. So now we've been doing something like we're meeting now and well, that's done. Well, because we're waiting for the next setup, right? You'd be better off as a day trader to have been in these earlier. Now is kind of late. Okay. So when you join, if you take any of the courses at FX Bootcamp, or you join the live group at Bootcamp, okay, you know that this is where you're supposed to be in. Okay. That's what it's all about. And notice that you're setting this up now. Now. This is where we are now. This is now. So, it's kind of late to be just getting into a trade now. Even if it goes up, you took a bad trade and you got lucky and you're making money with a lot of mediocrity. And ultimately, that won't get you through the long game. Okay, that might get you through the first quarter. You got a couple of lucky shots, but you're not going to win the game. Okay, so we know this is the best time. And this is what you're taught to do. But then inside of that, there's other moves. There's the London Open. Okay? And now, this is the true New York Open. Not here. Here. So you should be in here, here, or here. This is Asia. This is London. Notice it's all pre-London, pre-New York, not after. You know that the London breakout crap? Well, let it happen, and then after it's happened, then do something. You're like, oh my God. You need to be a boss. Okay? So Asia or pre-Asia, pre-London, pre-New York. And when you get to New York, you're planning Asia. So you're here and you're like, that was such a great move. I want to buy low. Okay. Is this low? Just think of it like this way. Is this low? No. It's not low. So you should have been in it hours ago. Now, if you've already baked a beautiful cake, this is icing, the scalping part. Okay, and you can see how easy it is, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, the illusion is if all you have is icing and no cake, and New York opens hot, you think you're hot shit. You're like, look at me, I just made 100 pips or whatever, right? Scalping New York on a 5-minute chart. You just got lucky as heck that it happened to continue through. But you missed the big money. And if you miss the big money, you'll never be big. You'll always be small. You'll be the one throwing bricks through windows to get bread. Okay? Yeah, A-Rod. Yo, so I want to focus on stuff like that. Like we can do that in the live group because I can give you my point of view. But I'm really looking forward to launching the book club so that we can find out what other traders do besides Wayne McDonald. Right? So I can give you my point of view, but I'd like to read other points of view. And I read a lot of social anthropology and a lot of psychology, not in books, but, I have too much education, I think. So I've read a lot of this crap. I'm like, why? For fun? No, but I have a management degree. And oh my God, is that a bunch of fluff? Oh my God. I'm like, are these real classes? You're supposed to worry about people's feelings? What a lame manager that would be. Oh, Stephen, it's terrible that you're not meeting your sales goals for this year. I empathize with you. It's really funny that the millennium world is really funny. Well, let's go for a Jamba Juice and let's talk about why you're not meeting your goals at work, right? You're like, you got to kick that person's ass, dude. He's not making his sales. He's not closing deals. He's not making calls. Like, this is how you do it. You set his ass on fire and you put a bucket of ice water on the other side of the office. You're like, you start closing deals or you're going to burn, right? Like, but in the millennium version is like, well, you hold hands and, you hold hands and empathize. So anyways, that's what Harvard taught me. You should empathize. I'm like, dude, I'm almost as old as Johnny. I don't empathize. What are you talking about? Empathize? Right? It's just so funny. It's just funny the different points of view. Congratulations, you got 19th place. Come get your ribbon. You're like, what are you... Yeah, anyways. Yeah. So anyways, so I'd like to read some other books and probably older books, but yeah, suck it up, Buttercup. So anyways, I'd like to read other people's points of view about almost everything related to investing and trading and really anything to do with exceptional performance. So like back before I was married and stuff, I did a lot of weird stuff. Like I'd go to the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, basically a high school for brilliant children. And I'd go and I'd sit and listen. I'd be like the only person in the room and I'd sit and I'd listen. And I'd watch. They're just like, they do kind of like practice performances. Because, once a year they go out and like the big concert for the school. Well, I'm like, well, the big concert's cool, but I'm more interested in watching them practice. Isn't that like crazy? I lived across the street from the opera. I'd go to the opera and I'd buy tickets for myself the night of the performance and I would stand. I wouldn't even have a chair. Have you ever stood through a German opera? But I'm interested in like the perfection of it, right? As well as the art and the beauty, of course. So like, I like to kind of go that direction of like, how does someone get through active combat without losing their mind? And some of you have probably been in active combat or have been in a war zone under amazing levels of duress. And how do you maintain yourself? Or maybe you can't. But how do you go through that process, right? What does it take to be a Navy SEAL, for example? And I've seen a lot of documentaries about them where, on the final day of the final exam, they're almost crawling across the line, beaten, broken, and everyone else has quit. And they want you to quit. There's a guy walking next to you. You can't take this. This is too much. If you quit, you can be home now. Just like you should do it. There's no shame. There's no shame in quitting. You're not going to make it, right? You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. It's too painful. This is ridiculous. You should, right? And then you cross the finish line and you break out into tears and you're like, you're a Green Beret. Right? Where you watch these guys, I watched another one, I guess on Navy SEALs. A friend of mine actually kind of worked for me, but it was also kind of a friend, I suppose. He was a Navy SEAL diving. His expertise was explosions. He would be the guy that with the diving bell and go under and add or subtract explosives to blow stuff up secretly, right? Anyways, he was a Navy SEAL, and then because of him, I watched a few things about what it takes to become a Navy SEAL. And there's the swimming process. Like, you need to know how to swim, right? If you're a Navy SEAL. And it's impossible. It's truly impossible to do it. And you have to do it anyways. And they show people where they pull them out because you're swimming underwater, right? And they pull you out and they're unconscious because of how long they haven't had any breath, any air, right? They pull them out and their body immediately goes into shock and they lose consciousness, and they pull them out and just lay them next to the pool, right? Right, nothing is impossible, but psychologically, mentally, and even physically, it's impossible, yet they do it anyways, right? And I'd like to learn from these guys about how to be a better trader, for example. But I got to add more into that too, because that appeals to me, to my personality or something. My weakness would be actually having emotion. So it'd be interesting to read about how to instead push through your emotions and ignore your emotions or get through your emotions. I might actually want to read more about maybe, it might be weird, relationship books or something. How to, instead of avoid your emotions, which is sort of the easy thing, how do you use emotions to propel yourself? And honestly, I don't know. I don't understand emotions. I really don't. And I wonder what they do. I see people around me all the time being irrational. But maybe as a coach, I would be a better coach if I understand the intellectual side of emotions, which is funny, right? I know why they're there, and I know where they came from, and I know how, the human mind has evolved, but how primitive our emotions are, and the psychology and the psyche and the conscious and subconscious, the id, the ego, the super ego. I can break it all down intellectually, but it doesn't mean I know it. So maybe I can learn and explore through that process. So I think the book club is going to be really fantastic, where we can go to pretty amazing places, I think. Yeah, watch the Elite Squad from Brazil. Yeah. There's so many great examples. I don't think we could ever, have too much. There's so many great examples. But the reason I said the San Francisco Conservatory of Music is, first of all, there's a 14-year-old girl in that high school that works harder than you. And she's going to go on and be a concert pianist or whatever, right? And I think we can learn from the 14-year-old girl. She knows work, she knows sacrifice, and she knows how to conduct herself under serious duress at a very young age, being used to being judged every single keystroke on the piano right, is being judged. And then you get thrown into an audience. And then, of course, in that world, there's always something to get to the next step. There's always a next step to get into the better school, to get into the better symphony, to get in the better concert hall. There's always something you need to achieve, and there's always something on the line. Where I think the average currency trader says, well, I know 95% of people lose their money. I've heard that all the time. So I'm going to pop $5,000 into this account. And if I blow it up, well, it makes sense because it always happens. And it's probably just my broker trading against me anyways. And you pop $5,000 in an account and you don't know what the heck you're doing. And of course you blow it up and the $5,000 goes away. And you're like, yeah, I knew it. The whole thing's a scam. And then you move on. You failed from the absolute very beginning. What can we learn from the 14-year-old girl that's on a life path? You plan to succeed, and then you have the fortitude through it to do it, right? You don't say, well, I'm going to try this piano thing, and if I don't get to play in Carnegie Hall in the first year, I'm out. I'm going to move on and try the oboe. Or, hey, chicks dig guitars. I'll try some guitar. And if I don't get some hot chicks in the first year, I'm going to try something else, right? Like, dude, seriously? The first guy to produce Slash as an artist, he's watching Slash play the guitar. Slash is like 14 or something. Very young, 15, 16, whatever. And he's playing the guitar like a mature adult. The music he's playing, it's not just guitar solos and rock and roll. He can play Spanish guitar and all this at this crazy young age. So he says to young Slash, and by the way, his name was Slash at that time. He asked him, like, son, what is it that you want to try to do? Like, what are your goals? Like, what is it that you want? And he says, normally when you ask a young rock and roll kid, what he wants to do, I want to party, I want chicks, I want to be a rock star, I want to have a Rolls Royce, right? And so this young kid says to him, I just want to be recognizable. I love playing guitar and I want people to recognize me. And he's like, I'll sign you right now. Then he poo-pooed on Lars from Metallica, and he said when Lars was a kid, and the reason he wanted to be in a rock and roll band is so he could be in an orgy. And you're like, okay, what a goal. So anyways, yeah. So anyways, we'll do some interesting stuff. All right, so here's what typically happens with scalpers. They get 2 or 3 trades in a row, and they're making money, and then they did the 4th one, and they just gave it all back. Okay? Notice now we're tiptoeing into the new hour. So what I had explained to you today is this is the dead period. The first step is to accept the position you're in. Well, the interesting thing is I'm a creator, which means part of creation is destruction. So as soon as I've created something, I destroy it and move on. That's it, right? Maybe it's being uncomfortable in the position you're in that may be important to other people, right? So, all right, so here's the thing. So now we're in this new hour, and you should already know what you want to do. Are you looking for this, or are you looking for this? And if you get it right, you'll make money. If you're chasing this around, like, oh, it can't go any higher, and you sold this. And then it busted higher, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to buy this. And then you did this, and then you bought that, and then you'll see, like, when I see young traders, one common mistake, probably the most common mistake, is it can't go any higher. So they sell situations like this. Okay? And maybe then they quickly realize they were wrong. So then maybe they buy this, but because that was bullish, and because this was bullish and they lost money, then this has to be bullish, right? And then they've lost money. And so you've spent 60 to 90 minutes wasting your time. It stops by, right? You just wasted your time. It can be done, but you got to be better than that. And the reason the way to be better than that is to know where we're going. Okay? Of course, you don't know where we're going, but you should think you do. So I'll repeat, the better trades is this trade, which we set up hours ago on the left, but that's a very basic day trade. Everyone that's gone through the FX Bootcamp day trading course or the swing trading course, that's straightforward, okay? And then there's this period, and then there's this period. And the rest is just look at. If you're in here, you made money, right? What if you started trading after? Dude, nothing happened for about 4 hours. And then you bought in here, okay? And then nothing happened for a couple of hours. And then up. And notice these are very often like 4 hours, 4 hours, and then 4 hours. So what if you thought about the day as a series of 4 different hours? Okay? And then think of it this way. If this is the high, right? If this is the high and that's the low of that period, and we called this a green candle. By the way, this might be a breakthrough for you, so I hope you're listening and taking notes. This may be a game changer for you if you're paying attention. Okay? We look at this whole period. I look at this whole period as not as a series of little candles, but as one giant candle. Okay. Does that giant green candle make you bullish or bearish? The answer should be bullish. Okay. So how do we handle this situation? You buy a dip. You buy low. Okay? Many ways of trying to figure that out. Is there a psych level? Is there a pivot point? Is there a moving average? Is there a Fibonacci? But we know, for example, with Fibonacci, you want to buy somewhere between the 382, 50%, and 618. You can use roll reversals. You can use price action. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter which one you're going to use. You know, because you have control over your trading and your behavior, that somewhere in this zone you're going to buy. And if you can get that concept, I can teach you how to trade. But notice the key here isn't predicting that it's going to happen. It already happened. So now you have to have the patience and discipline to execute a trade properly. Yeah. I have patience. Yeah. I'm super patient. Let's go. I got to move. Give me the trade. Right? Okay? Are you disciplined? Yeah, most of the time. Are you pregnant? Only a little bit. right? And of course, you buy the dip. And you're done. And it happened at 7 o'clock in the morning. And by the way, that period has historic lineage to it, in particular to gold. I'd even forgot this was gold. To me, it doesn't matter if it's gold. But then I realized, but there is a historical reason of when the gold markets, the gold futures trading and physical gold markets opened in the United States, and there's some history to there. Okay. So, for example, at 2 o'clock, pigs and cows would close. Right? That means beef futures trading, the pits would close at 2. Pork bellies, for example, or lean hogs, all that would stop at 2 in the afternoon, and then at 2:30, oil futures would stop trading, and that was where I grew up in that. I've never traded on an exchange. I've been on an exchange. I've been in the S&P 500 pits and stuff like that, and I remember that day too. I'm like, look at me, I'm in soybean meal. I'm in the soybean meal trading pit. So there's historical sort of ghosts in these markets. They still kind of giddy up, even though that trading doesn't exist anymore. I'm not sure if it's just a coincidence or if there's a reason for it, but it's still interesting. So I can break this down. If you're finding your trading has mediocre results, most likely you have pieces of the puzzle, but you can't see the entire picture, and you're also missing a lot of pieces. For example, you might be doing the right thing at the wrong time of day. I can fix you. Mm-hmm. I like the way you trade. Mm-hmm. Okay? You're fixable. You're probably just trading in here and missing the whole show. You missed this show and you missed this show. And you're like, up, and whatever, right? I can fix you. You just need to, technical analysis. Now you need to know how to trade. Oh, Dr. Age, are you talking about like in Dubai, the gold souk? There's a holiday in Dubai. It's a good place to buy Rolexes, by the way. There's a whole market in Dubai, which is really interesting, where you buy, almost like lease, a Rolex. Then you go home for the holidays, and you got your Rolex on, and your uncles and your cousins and your mom and dad, they're like, oh, Wayne is so successful. He's doing so well for himself. And then as soon as the holiday's over, you go back to the store and they buy it back. And you lie to everybody close to you in your life. It's a great holiday. I don't know which one it is. But then, so you can go to these places in Dubai, and you can buy, like, let's say a $30,000 Rolex for, like, 12 grand, because it's been owned 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years. So yeah, it's a couple of years old. It's only been worn, 6 weeks in the last 2 years. And you buy it and you're like, yeah, and you buy it cheap. It's great. So what you do is you put one on your left hand, one on your right hand, take your wife and kids. They each carry a Rolex. Your kid's got a Rolex. Your baby's got a Rolex. Your wife's got a Rolex. You got a Rolex. And you get home, you're like, boom, sell them all. But maybe you can just rent some kids. You're like, okay, everyone, we're going to Wally World in Dubai. This is going to be great. I'm going to Wally World. But on the way back, everyone has to wear a Rolex, right? So that way you don't have to pay taxes. You have to wear these Rolex when we go through customs. Now you got, right? Now you got 40 Rolexes that you can start selling on eBay. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's it. I think that was quite an accomplishment today. I think that was good. I think we had a reasonable discussion in there. I guess I'll see you guys later if you're in my live group. The swing trading group meets today, same time, 4 p.m. in the war room. I would like to get feedback from you guys. I'd like to move it earlier in the day, so I don't know if that's even just an hour earlier or if you want to move it to noon. I know the other group's got a meeting, and I'm not sure. I think that's 1, so is it? I don't want to overlap or whatever, but I'd like to get some feedback on to move it earlier, right? So, yeah. So I'll see you there. If you need a broker, tradersway.com. If you want to learn how to trade by watching videos, if that's your modality, fxbootcamp.com. If you want to join our swing trading group, you got to join fxbootcamp.com first, and then upgrade your account to give you access to the live group. It's only $99, so it's not outrageous. What else? Oh, my chart templates are below. One of the things I'm going to do in the next few days is get all the new installers done, and you'll get the free upgrade. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wink. Hey, free upgrade coming. So you can sign up for that today. The link is in the description below. And if your modality is reading, the link to my book is in the description below. All that kind of stuff. So, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Forex.Today community. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Wait, is tomorrow Friday? Okay, tomorrow I'm not here at Forex.Today. I'm at FX Street, so you have to go to FX Street. And someone said, well, I'm at FX Street now. Now what do I do? You sign up for the webinar, right? So I'm doing the webinar, Trade Non-Farm Payrolls live. I'm not sure. We're getting pretty close to 14 and a half years I've been doing that monthly webinar. So that I don't know what number that is, but it's a lot. So I'll see you over there. And that'll be at 7:30 in the a.m. New York time. So peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Have a nice day.